A lovely morning today as I welcome you to the paper review on BGI TV Current on your darling station. And this morning I have the following paper: The Nation newspaper, Platform Times, The Vanguard newspaper, Nigerian Tribune, and The Leadership. And from the first rider, but before that, my name remains Ige or Lalekon, while I enjoin you to sit tight and let me take you through the daily's paper for the review for today. From the Nation newspaper, I have the following headlines: APC NWC announces Adamu's Omishore's resignation. From the Platform, Enugu lawmaker shot dead as police begin manhunt. From the Vanguard newspaper, I have no hand in Southeast mayhem, and that is according to Simeon Ekpa. How Ribadu Uzodinma forced Abdullahi Adamu, APC national chairman, to resign. Nigerian police debunk memo withdrawing security aid from politicians. Obi's petition strange, Tinubu's lawyers tell tribunal. Osun Assembly confirms change of state name from State of Osun. And from the Vanguard newspaper, Tinubu returned after AU meeting in Kenya. While the Nation newspaper, Kyari takes over APC as NWC postponed caucus neck meeting. APC top position, why Adamu Omishore lost out. APC crisis, Tinubu shop for Adamu's successor. While from the Leadership, Ganduje, Yuguda, others form Fulani's coalition against insecurity. Now, let's go into the story in details while we also take the review alongside. From the Vanguard newspaper this morning, APC crisis, Tinubu shop for Adamu's successor. Following the resignation of Senator Abdullahi Adamu as national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC, indication emerged yesterday that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is actively shopping for his replacement. Vanguard reliably gathered that some of the president's men were said to have been looking for a suitable replacement for Adamu shortly after Tinubu was elected in February this year. While Tinubu was said to have subpedal shortly after he was sworn in, preferring to ousted Adamu, some chieftaincy of the party were said to have impressed it on the former governor of Osun State and interim national chairman of the party, Chief Bisi Akande, to secure the president's nod to remove Adamu instantly. APC account frozen. The development came on a day when all the bank accounts of the ruling party have been frozen. Vanguard gathered that the account was frozen on the order of the presidency, days before the embattled chairman was shown the exit. The development had consequently affected the payment of advertisement debt accruing to various media houses covering the party. Now, looking at the embattled national chairman of the APC resigning, it gives a signal that there had never been a time where there had been a mutual understanding, because there have been a lot of allegations against Abdullahi Adamu during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari on the course of conducting the primaries. Then, if you will not forget, it was from a reliable source, the information was revealed that Adamu was working against the ambition of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of becoming the next president of the country, while he had his choice for the likes of Atiku, who is also in another party. However, there are also been other allegations against him, of which he himself felt he does not really belong to the caucus anymore. And as a result of this row within the party, the internal crisis, it has led to different factions, of which now the president is trying to see how he can harmoniously bring back everyone together, just like the statements of President Muhammadu Buhari then, when he said, "I am a friend to all and I am not enemy to all." Let's quickly take the second paper. From the Nation newspaper this morning, we have this. APC top position, why Adamu Omishore lost out. Now, Senator Abdullahi Adamu and Iyola Omishore left their position yesterday as the national chairman and national secretary of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), following complaints about lack of accountability and not inclusive leadership. It was learned. They were also accused of personalizing their position and sidelining critical organs, particularly the National Working Committee and the National Executive Committee. Besides, Adamu and Omishore, according to source, lost out in the power game because of their indictment in the party's audit report. The source said the chairman had become a source of division in the NEC and the National Working Committee. Adamu and Omishore came into office in March last year. APC National Vice Chairman Salihu Lukman had consistently accused Adamu of violating the constitution of the party. The infraction listed by him include the refusal to tender financial accounts, lack of budget for NEC approval, absence of women and youth and persons with disability wings, refusal to set up committee on establishment, finance, intergovernmental conflict and reconciliation, and refusal to review the last general election. Adamu was alleged to have acted at variance with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, APC governors and members of the National Working Committee. Now, if you look at this, there have been a lot of allegations, of which even accountability of the fund that are used in managing the administrative affairs of the party have not been able to be, tabled before the committee as it is expected of the national chairman, including its national secretary. And at the same time, you come to realize that this issue, this internal crisis is something that APC have to be very careful to manage it in order not to really, affect the entire country as a whole. Because the manifesto of the party is one of the paramount things that makes the masses to vote for them. And if really they cannot really undo the internal crisis for now, then what will be the expectation of Nigerians that voted for the party into power? And let us quickly look at another pages from another dailies. Let's look at the one from the Nation newspaper once again this morning. APC National Working Committee announces Adamu Omishore's resignation. Now, you come to realize that the news that we have concurrently for this week has been talking about the APC, as presently they are the one in power in the country. And it is very important that the president must take a cue from the previous incident that happened to the PDP while in power, in order for them not to use this to divert the focus of their plan, their manifesto, their agenda for the country. The National Working Committee of the All Progressive Congress has announced the resignation of the party national chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu. The acting national chairman of the party, Senator Abubakar Kyari, who confirmed Adamu's resignation, said the national secretary, Senator Iyola Omishore, also resigned. He said he take over as acting chairman, while Deputy National Secretary, Barrister Festus Fonta, takes over as acting secretary. The meeting also announced the postponement of the National Caucus and the National Executive Committee meetings slated for Tuesday and Wednesday. 17th members of the committees were in attendance, with only the National Publicity Secretary, Festus Felix Moka, and the National Women's Leader, Dr. Betty Edu, absent after due permission. Now, the APC needs a kind of a machinery to checkmate the crisis within their party in order for it not to escalate, because you need not to forget what happened during the time of the PDP while in power. The moment a political party which is in the front burner, has issues, the internal crisis could lead to divisions even at the National Assembly, of which possibly can bring about cross-carpeting and the rest of it, jumpology, as some of the theory that were adopted in the political environment in Nigeria. So right now we are going into the platform, and this is coming from a sad story. Enugu lawmaker shot dead as police begin manhunt. A councillor, Nelson Sylvester, popularly known as Umfwa, representing Oha Unlaw Ward in Nsukka Local Government Area Legislative Council, Enugu State, has been shot dead by unknown person. The Enugu State Command confirmed the incident. It was gathered that the lawmaker was murdered by gunmen on Sunday night at his residence in Oha, Aluoma. A source disclosed that the assailants stormed the lawmaker's house and started raining bullets on him. He added that the councillor ran into a neighboring compound from where his lifeless body was later recovered. It was said that the development has sparked tension in the town and other neighboring community. The police public relations officer, DSP Daniel Undeku, disclosed that the command have arrested one male suspect and a member of the criminal gang alleged to have attacked the deceased. Now, looking at this, a lawmaker in the Enugu State House of Assembly, it shows that there is still need for the federal government and the state government at the same time to work harmoniously. They should try to form a synergy to build up the security of the country. Although we give kudos to the current administration for the various steps that have been taken in seeing how they can bring to an end and nip in the bud the operation of Boko Haram and other insurgent elements within the country. But it is very, very important that the security architecture of the country should be paramount in order for everybody to be safe. Now, in this morning paper review, one of the things that I want us to always look at, of which is one of the focus of today, let's take it from the Vanguard newspaper. I have no hand in Southeast Mayhem, and that is according to Simeon Ekpa. If you will not forget, there was an Eastern extract indigene whose name was Simeon Ekpa, who based in Finland and had been giving instruction to the IPOB, giving them instruction, and at the same time, from a reliable source, we got the information then that he was the one that ordered the sit-at-home order in the southeastern part of the country, of which everyone were instructed to stay at home, of which at the same time they were trying to extend it to other regions of the country, just because of the fact that they said no, IPOB and Biafra, the vision of Biafra must be established. They must see the way from Nigeria. Let's go through the paper this morning and see what Samuel Ekpa is saying. Finland-based Biafran separatist leader Simeon Ekpa has absorbed his group, the autopilot and indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, of being responsible for the killings and destructions in the southeast, and blame politicians instead. He said, sit at home is a civic disobedience, but politicians are the ones sponsoring talks to cause the mayhem in the zone. Ekpa spoke in an exclusive interview with Vanguard during a question and answer section about his agitation and why he is doing what he is doing. Your agitation is affecting the people, and a lot of people do not understand what your agitation is about. Simeon Ekpa wants the freedom of Biafra people. He wants to finish what our forefathers started. He wants to liberate the people of Biafra and those who believe that Nigeria is not meant for them. The liberation of Biafra is what Simeon Ekpa has come to do. Now, looking at this, Simeon Ekpa does not really based in Nigeria. But look at the series of atrocity that has been committed in the southeast. A lot of life has been wasted. A lot of the people within the southeast cannot even be free in their own land. And they were being killed by their own people based on the instruction of a man who doesn't even reside right there in their midst. Now, they said they are calling for Biafra state. They want to seed out of Nigeria. They believe Nigeria is not meant for them. But the truth of the matter is, you need to recall that Nigeria is for every indigene of all the zones within the country. And at the same time, you have various representatives at the center who are there to represent the people from the various zones of the country. The best thing you need to do is to, take your challenges, take your plights to the government, and they will always provide solution to it. Like the issue of the insecurity, if you look at it, the current administration has been beefing up to make sure that they put an end to all those militants and the various factions. Because when you look at the various zones in the country, every zone has its own peculiarities. We have the Boko Haram, the bandits, the herdsmen and the farmers clashes in the south, in the northern parts of the country. We have the IPOB in the southeast. We have the militants that vandalize petroleum and the rest of it in the south. We have the thugs in the southwest. But if you look at it, the current president has, as far as he has changed the architecture and at the same time replaced the chief of staffs in the country, he has been mounting pressure on them to make sure that they checkmate all those element activities in order to bring Nigeria back to its rightful position. And just like what Simeon Ekpa said, a lot of atrocity has been committed in the country, of which reference were made by even the IPOB themselves that, okay, they are working to carry out to letter the instruction they got from their leader, of whom they make reference to Simeon Ekpa. So I believe everyone will be so surprised now to see when Simeon Ekpa is now denying, when he said he have no hand in all the mayhem that is going on in the southern eastern part of the country. And lest we forget, there was a time even the head of the Ohaneze Indimbo Apex group, in person of Dr. Unwayan, when he said that in the southeastern part of the country, they have no security challenge, that what they just wanted is for Nnamdi Kanu to be released. But the question is whether Nnamdi Kanu is released or not. Let the court, take his dust. Let justice be taken on the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. And at the same time, the security of life and properties of people should be paramount. There was a video that goes viral then, of which some students that went to school to write WAEC were being flogged because they said they disobey the order of the sit at home. Let's quickly go through another dailies for this morning. From the leadership, I have this. Ganduje, Yuguda, others form Fulani's coalition against security. Leaders of 17 Fulani group have formed a coalition to end the insecurity being perpetrated by some of their kinsmen, with the immediate past Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje stating that killers' herdsmen have been transformed. The Fulani leaders, including former Bauchi State Governor Isa Yuguda and Ganduje, acknowledge that just as is with other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, there are bad eggs among the Fulani that engage in kidnapping, armed robbery, and other armed malicious activities. Speaking at the maiden meeting of 17th Fulani group that formed a coalition to confront the security challenge in the country and change the attitude of the Fulani to modern pastoralism, Ganduje said the killer herdsmen are now born again. Now, this is coming to the Nigerian people's arena. Ganduje and some of his kinsmen, Yuguda and others, in their coalition are saying that the killer herdsmen that we used to know that have been tormenting people all around the country, that they are now born again. Now, if you look at some of the Fulani's extractions, who are also privileged to be in power in this country, during the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, none of them never came out to voice out their plight in respect of what their kinsmen were doing to other tribes, other nationalities in the country. But I think it is now left for the current administration to take a bold step and at the same time to take the right decision on how to handle those herdsmen, because it is very, very important that you don't sleep and put your house on fire. They have to be very careful. But right now that the Fulani group are saying that the previous Fulani group that we used to know as the killers men, that they are now born again. Well, let's keep all fingers crossed and see what the current administration will do about that. Now, going through another pages of the newspaper, right now we are going to be looking at the Platform Times. Ribadu Uzodinma forced Abdullahi Adamu, APC national chairman, to resign. A strong indication has emerged that the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, an Imo State governor and chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Hope Uzodinma, asked Senator Abdullahi Adamu, the national chairman of All Progressive Congress APC, to resign from office. Adamu, former governor of Nasarawa State, was said to have resigned to save himself from being removed from office. According to the report, Adamu was forced to bow out over many issues, which include his non-stop for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during the campaign. Platform Times had reported that Adamu had raised concern over the plan to remove him for not supporting Tinubu's emergence as the candidate of the party. For the past 2 weeks, elements within the party have been calling for his resignation, threatening to remove him at the next National Executive Committee meeting this week if he fails to resign. The party's next meeting was initially billed to hold July 10 to 11, but was postponed till Tuesday and Wednesday this week due to the president's international engagement. Now, just like I said the other time that there have been a lot of counter accusation against Adamu while he was at the ends of affair as the chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC. And at the same time, some of the party members perceived that he was working contrary to the focus and to the attainment of the party during the primary. And at the same time, other allegations of, accountabilities and the rest of it, of which two people were mentioned right now, that Nuhu Ribadu and Hope Uzodinma were even part of those that engineers the removal of Adamu Abdullahi as the national chairman of APC. Right now, let's go through the Nigerian Tribune, where we have the headline: Nigerian police debunk memo withdrawing security aids from politician. Now, the question is, if you look at it, we will say in Nigeria or in any society, we have the VIPs and the rest of it like that. Now, the Nigerian police force has just debunked the rumor now that they are withdrawing aids from various politicians. But the question is, there was a time a video that went viral, of which we saw a cattle rearer with 7 policemen that are guiding him, Should we call that also a VIP? Or what does it take, or what is the yardstick? What is the prerequisite for me to order, maybe to write to the Nigerian police force that, okay, I need some security men to always guide me and things like that? What exactly is the primary purpose of Nigerian police force? What are their responsibilities? What are their duties to the nation? Are they there to guide the politician or to maintain peace and order, to protect life and properties in the country? These are some of the major questions I think the Nigerian police force should respond to. Let's quickly take the headline. We said Nigerian police force debunk memo withdrawing security aids from politicians. The Nigerian police force has debunked the circulation of a viral memo claiming that the force has withdrawn police aids from politicians. In a press release, the NPF addressed the ambiguity surrounding the signal, stating that it is fake and did not originate from the NPC or any of its formation. The memo in question, purportedly originating from Mopol 45 FHQ Abuja, ordered the removal of police aid from certain top politicians and their relatives. However, the NPF clarified that the signal deviates from its telegraph message structures and standard, as it bears the irregular signature of a deputy commissioner of police, whereas such a signal would typically be signed by an assistant commissioner of police who has such information. Whether it is from a fake source or not, the question is, what are the primary purpose of policing in a country, and why do we even have the formation of the Nigerian police force in place in the first place? So these are the questions I think the Nigerian police force will need to attend to. Now let's take another paper headline from the Platform Times, where we have Obi's petition strange. Tinubu's lawyer tells tribunal. Counsel for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and All Progressive Congress, led by Chief Wole Olanipekun, have described the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi's petition challenging the election of Tinubu and APC victory as strange to Nigeria electoral jurisprudence. The lawyer representing Tinubu and the All Progressive Congress told the presidential election petition court in their submission in the final written address submitted on Friday in response to Obi and Labour's party challenge. In the 49-page address, the lawyer urged the tribunal to dismiss the case for lacking merit. The petition in issue in this address is very novel, in the sense that it is not a petition stereo sense familiar to our electoral jurisprudence, as the petitioner are not, this time around, complaining about election rigging, ballot box snatching, ballot box stuffing, violence, thuggery, vote buying, vote intimidation, enfranchisement, interference by the military or the police, and such other electoral vices. Now, looking at this, the lawyer to the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in person of Wole Olanipekun, is appealing to the court, at the same time telling the court on what they felt based on their research on the petition of the Labour Party candidate in person of Obi, that Obi's petition is strange to Nigerian jurisprudence. Well, at the end of the tribunal, we'll get to know the facts of what are the old details that transpire in the court. And during the course of the election, everything that happens will be reviewed. Let's quickly take this. We have Tinubu from the Vanguard newspaper. Tinubu returned after AU meeting in Kenya. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu arrived presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at 4:20 p.m., returning to Abuja from Nairobi, Kenya, where he participated in the 5th mid-year coordination meeting of the AU African Union. The president was received at the airport by top government functionaries, Senator George Akume. Others in the welcome party were the chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, Imo Governor Hope Uzodinma, and former Kano State Governor Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was at the meeting in his capacity as the chairman of the authority of the head of state and government of the Economic Community of West African States. He left Abuja for the meeting on Saturday. Among the issues discussed at the Nairobi meeting were deliberation and conclusion reaffirming African unity and strength, and rejection of a new scrabble for Africa. Now, looking at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu coming on board and at the same time badging other titles, of which presently he is now the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States. Now, I think this one will portray a lot of positive light on Nigeria, despite the fact that, we have a lot of challenges at hand, of which the government is tackling presently. And at the same time, I believe that, the move of the government has shown that, okay, it is a new dawn. But the most important thing is that for the government to succeed, there must be cooperation among the various arms of government, and at the same time, other parties will also have to feel belong in the fact that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should form an inclusive government and put the right people in the right hole for Nigeria to now come back on its feet to be a good example to the global world entirely as a whole. And at the same time, he said something at the 63rd section of the Commonwealth of Nations, of which I was so much excited about. It is high time Africans see themselves as a counterpart to the Western world. We must not feel inferior. We must always think locally and act globally. Every manufacturer in Africa, it is high time you wake up. You can do it and you can produce it. And I think this is where we'll be rounding up for the paper review for this morning. My name remains Ige or Lalikon, and it's my pleasure, and I wish you a lovely day ahead. Bye for now.